Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Jerome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited for this one, man. We got Kid Cudi, new album, Entergalactic. To preface this, I am a pretty casual Kid Cudi fan. I have listened to all of his studio albums. Obviously, a big fan of the Man on the Moon series. I do think, as with many artists, he started out with probably his best work. Man on the Moon 1 is probably my favorite album, and I think it's subjectively most people's favorite Kid Cudi album. Though you could make the argument for the second one as well. But with that being said, it's pretty blatantly clear that Kid Cudi is one of the most influential artists of at least my generation. And, one of the main people I think of are, like Kid Cudi, Kanye West, Drake, Kendrick, these sort of artists. They're big names, but they really changed the genre. And, when it comes to like Kid Cudi and Kanye in particular, a lot of what they're about is vulnerability. And, that's why so many of those albums really resonate with people, me included, obviously. So expectations, I've basically just ignored all the rollout to this. I've not listened to any singles. I don't know if there is like a backstory to this album. I don't know it. Going in blind. In general, big fan of Kid Cudi's music. I guess what I'm hoping for is a little bit of variation. I really enjoy hearing some of his really hype tracks, aggressive beats and him just rapping his ass off. We've gotten some more of those recently. I think of like Tequila Shots, where that one bangs at parties, let me tell you. But then I'm also hoping for the more introspective and the more, when you think of Kid Cudi, you're thinking of the solo dolos, day and night, that sort of thing. So I'm hoping for a variety. Regardless, it's new Cudi, so I'm happy. And I'm gonna stop bullshitting. Let's just get right into it. Track number 1 of Entergalactic. We got Intergalactic Theme. I'm excited, man. I can't lie to you. I'm hyped. All right. So it's Intergalactic Theme. It was just an instrumental. I'm primed. I'm ready to go for the album. No thoughts on that. Let's just get into it. For first real track, New Mode. Man, I can't wait to hear some Cudi hums, man. I'm ready for that shit. So just from that chorus and post-chorus there, I hear a lot of growth. Maybe not as much musically, but certainly in terms of mentality. I know certainly a lot of people who I know who have like tried to listen to Cudi but don't really like him. One of the major gripes is the music's too depressing, or this or that, whatever the case is. It's a reflection of the artist, and it's a reflection of someone's process of struggles that they're having in life. And right now, like this right here is growth from what we've typically grown accustomed to. And this isn't the first time, but I mean, just the mentality of being in a new mode, just like, I ain't the same as when you met me. I look to the side. I never let me down. Oftentimes it's really easy to kind of blame others for your like disappointment. And in a way, the mentality of saying, I never let me down. I think that's a powerful one. I sit with thoughts so sober. I really like this song, man. Alright, that was New Mode. Really enjoyed that track. I love the sound of it. One thing I do want to say, and I could be going out on a limb here, but I think one of the reasons why, Kid Cudi's and Kanye, people who, and when I say Kanye, I mean like talking like 808 Days, when he's truly his most vulnerable. People like this, I think the reason they're so popular has a lot to do with the mental health of men in general. Truly, it's no secret at this point that men are far more likely to commit suicide. I just pulled up the site here. So in 2020, men died by suicide 3.88 times more than women. And a lot of that, I'm sure there's different reasons. I'm not expert on this, but I mean, just in general, I think it's fair to say that we bottle up more of our feelings, and don't want to be viewed as weak, but whatever the case is, that's just a fact. And, men's mental health is something that ought to be getting more attention. One thing that always gets me is we have these recognition days or whatever, suicide prevention days, or we're just like, oh, let's recognize how important this is. You know what that is? It's everyone just throws something up on social media, and it doesn't change anything. Like, I don't know exactly what it would take to actually incite change in something like this, but I can assure you that just name it is putting a label on a day, or posting a social media post like, hey, you can always talk to me, it's fake, man. It's something that's important, and one of the ways that a lot of people cope with the struggles they go through is through music, which is one of the reasons why I love it so very much. But yeah, certainly, just to finish on my point, Kid Cudi and Kanye were certainly one of the first who really like took a deep dive into being vulnerable and really expressing that vulnerability in its rawest form through their music. Not to say that it never was done before, but they created entire projects based on that, and they became so popular, and people still love these projects to this day. But yeah, good track. I'm talking too much. We're gonna move on to the next one. Do What I Want.
Stay off the weed.
I'm dead, bro. Stephen A. Smith, Stay Off the Weed. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, he's just talking his shit right here, right? He's kind of just flexing a little bit. Yeah, you got to do that sometimes. You're talking about the Range Rover, black Porsche, drinking, smoking, having a good time. Sometimes you got to flex a little bit. I don't hate it. And I feel like I can do what I want. Living. It's not my favorite chorus of all time. R.I.P. Virgil. All right, that was Do What I Want. That was a lot looser track. A lot less to talk about there. Just kind of flex a little bit, doing what he wants, smoking, drinking, flexing his luxurious life. I don't want to know shit about that. So, yeah, not a lot to talk about there. Not my favorite track. I felt the chorus was pretty repetitive. Probably could have cut it in half if he's going to keep saying the same thing over and over again. But it's vibey. I'm sure maybe it'll sound good partying. But regardless, move on to the next track. This one's called Angel.
In your halo,
Shut up, Beyonce.
there you'll be such an angel.
There's not a whole lot to break down here, but I really liked that little 4-bar part here. Tell me your side of it. You're like the sunshine. It's like you know me, and I'm so lost in a dream when asleep, there you be. It's really just talking about when you find that rock, how you're able to confide in that person. And I really enjoy how he compares, you're like a sunrise. Because, regardless of how hectic life may get, or how horrible things may get, or how good they might get, the one thing you can always count on is the sun rising in the morning. And, there's certain constants in life that help anchor you in that kind of way. And sunrises are certainly one of those things. So just kind of comparing person who is your anchor to those constants is always a beautiful way to express it in music. All right, that was Angel. Very, very, very slow track. I did kind of give my one little thought there about the one verse that was in there. Chorus, very slow. It was very vibey. It wasn't too crazy of a track. So far, New Mode is still my favorite by far. But we'll keep it rolling. Next track, we got Ignite the Love.
These things inside, you know them now. Hurry by. Come on, fall up from the sky to me, angel wings. Let's dream.
It is very much a love song, and I definitely see myself playing this in the car. I feel like, got my girl on my side. I don't know. It's not the craziest track, But I like the tempo of it. I like the beat. I like the sound. I think he complements the beat very well. We'll let it wrap up, but decent track.
It's just you and I.
All right, that was Ignite the Love. Again, it was like a love song. I like the higher tempo. We're coming off, I think at least, well, one instrumental, two tracks were slow, and then Do What I Want was a little bit higher pace. But Do What I Want was just kind of flexing. It wasn't very relatable, at least from a broke person like me. So Ignite the Love definitely can relate to that. Nice high tempo. So solid track. Still, New Mode my favorite. One thing that I do want to note that I've just been noticing in general in music, it's been a trend, is that tracks are getting shorter and shorter. So I mean, if we look at the album here, there's a couple. This is almost a 4-minute track. A lot of these are under 3 minutes. Like the vast majority of these tracks are under 3 minutes. I think a lot of that stems from content goes so quick. You're flipping through shit so fast. Attention spans are just getting shorter and shorter. I mean, I haven't tested this, but let's go to Let's go to The First Man on the Moon. Guarantee you these are longer tracks. Yeah, so you got like 4, 4, 4, 4. This is almost 4 minutes. Like, the average is, I didn't do the math, but I'm assuming the average is about a minute to a minute and a half longer per track, which is a lot of time when you think about it. It's like an entire verse that you just chop off. I'm not saying it's good or bad either way. It's just an observation. It's interesting how time has changed, and the way we digest or are willing to digest is a better way to put it. Content has changed drastically in just within a decade. So just an interesting side note. But regardless, we'll move on. Next track we got is In Love.
She's all I want, y'all. I can explain what I'm feeling, so I will wait and I'll wait for you.
Oh man, I'm loving this track so far. I could really relate to those lyrics right there. So he goes, rolling through my days and all my nights, speeding by, hoping I don't hit the walls. There she stands, and we share a stare. She is all I've been wanting, y'all. I can't explain what I'm feeling, so I'll wait for you. Tell your relationships in college. So like, I'm in grad school, my girlfriend's in college. It sucks because you have to focus. It's a major investment, so you have to focus to make sure you get your shit done. And there's certainly that longing that takes place. At least personally, I know how that goes, and I'm sure many of you can relate. And that's the beauty of it, because I'm sure he meant it a different way. But even for me, in the realm of having a relationship, well, both of us are in college. I could definitely those lyrics certainly resonated to me. I love the sound of this track, though. All right, that was In Love. I really enjoyed that track. And one of the more challenging parts of reacting to a Kid Cudi album is that much of the reaction is internal, and it's what his music makes you feel. It's very different in that way from hip hop, like when I'm reacting to Lupe Fiasco or Joey Badass or Capital Steez, where the lyrics are the forefront. Certainly, the lyrics play a part here, but a lot of it is, how it makes you feel. And that track, I think it really encapsulated the feeling of being in love very well. The instrumentation, what he was saying, it all aggregates into this feeling of, waviness. There's a vibe of love. I sound like a dumbass, but I'm just gonna roll with it. Hopefully y'all understand. Next track though, we got "Willing to Trust." This is featuring Ty Dolla $ign. Pretty neat combo. So I'm excited to hear how they sound. Looks like they got a couple tracks together here. But here we go. "Willing to Trust."
Willing to trust someone.
Oh man, those vocals though.
To trust someone.
Shit.
Don't do me dirty. Let's make this worth it.
Man, I gotta say, the sound, the sonics here. Well, first of all, Ty Dolla $ign, we know, one of the more talented voices. And he pairs very well with Cudi here. Lyrically, certainly there are pillars in relationships which help ensure that they'll last. The main ones that come to mind are trust. I mean, communication. You got to have a spark of love. And there's the list goes on and on. But certainly trust is a very important part of that, and they're speaking of that in this track.
Trust someone. Willing to trust someone. Just hold on me.
Yeah, man, I was willing to trust. Very slick track, very smooth sounding, and it's interesting enough. This is the one they choose to have a very long instrumental. And I feel like this one in particular, like you have Ty Dolla $ign, his voice is amazing. It's a very catchy song. Like I figured this would be one of the ones where you want it to be short. I think certainly having a however long instrumental within the track, I think that always takes a little bit away from the replayability of it. But definitely enjoyed it first listen. Regardless, good track. I definitely enjoyed that one. So next up we got Can't Believe It. This one's featuring 2 Chainz. Oh,
42, I do okay. I knew you couldn't know me, Jack.
Jackie Robinson. Not my favorite chorus again. It's okay though.
Part about it, we was evenly matched. Yeah, I've been coasting since a Motorola.
All right, there we go. We are getting variation here. That was very high tempo. That's one that'll probably grow on me. I didn't like it all that much first listen. When I'm here, I'm really zoning in. I'm trying to focus on the music, focus on the lyrics. And that's one of those tracks where definitely it's probably better suited not doing that. So as I listen to it, not fully fledged focusing on it, I'll probably enjoy that one more. But first listen, it was all right. But I definitely enjoyed that. It was a little bit higher tempo again. Either way, we'll move on. Living My Truth.
Living my truth is all I know.
I like this one, man. I like it. All right, that was Living My Truth. Very exuberant production on that one. And I really enjoyed that track. I like the chorus, life goes on and on. Living my truth is all I know. Powerful message there. I think this track sounded very good. Regardless, we move on. We got Maybe So.
Thinking about all the special things you said.
Wow.
Take it slow and you'll soon be fine. Maybe so, maybe not.
This might be my favorite track. I don't even know what to say. I was just really soaking everything up. Sounds incredible. I really love it when I don't know how he does this. I like the way he performs this. It's almost like he's just over the mic a little bit, and it's kind of like a whisper, but it's kind of not. It's like a very soothing, like he's almost just talking to you. I mean, there's a bunch of things we could talk about here. I think one important one is in the chorus where he says, "And they say I'll heal in time. Maybe so, maybe not." Gosh, I think we've all really been there. If you've ever been through anything tough, you'll heal that all the time. Like, hey, it just takes time. It heals over time. Certainly, when stuff has happened to me and people say that, in the moment I'm just like, yeah, sure, but deep inside I'm like, no, it's never gonna get better. And of course it does. So at least in my experience, time does heal all wounds, per se. But that saying maybe so, maybe not, that sort of mentality goes through your head when you're going through a tough time. So I enjoy that he includes that. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this so far. Let's keep it rolling.
And they say that I'll heal in time. Maybe so, maybe not. Sunday afternoon, and I'm dreaming of you.
I think it's interesting that he says Sunday afternoon. So he says, Sunday afternoon, I'm dreaming of you. Please don't go. Throw your love away. I'm missing you. I mean, when you think about it, typically, like if you work Monday through Friday, you have weekends off, Sunday afternoons Sunday nights are like kind of your most vulnerable point, right? Like you just got through a week, you probably had a busy weekend, and then you're ending it off there. And certainly if you're alone at that point and you have to flip the mentality of enjoying your weekend to starting a work week by yourself when you could have been sharing it with someone. You know, I certainly see how that takes a toll. Just interesting choice of saying Sunday afternoons, how that in particularly affects him. Gorgeous. We'll let it wrap up, but I think this is my favorite so far.
Take it slow and you'll soon be fine. Maybe so, maybe not.
Yeah, man, maybe so. Really like that track. I feel like it's one that maybe not a lot of people are really gonna like that much. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but you know, his voice on this very, very somber, very relaxing, soothing on the ears. Stripped back beat, it was slower, it was introspective. You know, it's really everything I want from a Cudi track. So definitely enjoyed that one. Next up, we got Can't Shake Her. This is again featuring Ty Dolla $ign.
You are truly everything worth of me. Can't shake her, shake her. I'ma dream you.
Sounds good. I really think this is going to be a song that resonates with a lot of people if you're going through, you know, a rough patch in a relationship or recently broken up. Really speaking about the longing for the other person. So especially if you're the one who broke it and you wanted to keep it going, like, bro, this one's probably going to hit different. Very introspective lyrics, decent track. A lot of these tracks are following like a 2-verse, 2-chorus kind of structure. I mean, usually a lot of songs like the most basic format is you have 3 verses and either 2 or 4 choruses, 2 to 4 in between there somewhere. But he's certainly going for shorter tracks, and I enjoy that one with Ty Dolla $ign is shorter than the previous one. Previous one I felt like they just threw an instrumental that didn't quite have to be in there. Enjoyed it first listen, but you know, takes away from replayability. Regardless, next track we got is She's Looking For Me.
She's looking for me, she's looking for me. All the girls are going out, raging till Sunday. She just wants some private time, company ain't boring.
Alright, She's Looking For Me. Didn't have a lot to say on that one. I honestly didn't really like that track that much. It seemed overly repetitive to me. Content-wise, wasn't a whole lot there for me to digest personally. I'm sure some of y'all will enjoy that one, but not for me. Regardless, the next one, third to last track here, we have Somewhere to Fly, featuring Don Toliver. I'm a Don Toliver fan. I haven't listened to him in a long time, so excited to hear that very unique vocals that he's got. Pretty vibey so far. Alright, that was Somewhere to Fly. I think sonically Don Toliver really made that track. Without his vocals, I don't think it would have been nearly as impactful. Content-wise, definitely enjoyed it. I like kind of thinking deeper in terms of what it means to fly somewhere with someone. So, I mean, it could be literal sense like going a physical location. Flying somewhere with someone could be having a deep connection and going somewhere beyond where you physically are, like emotionally and as two people. But yeah, you know, decent track. You're probably getting sick of hearing that from me, but a lot of these I just find they're pretty decent. At the end, I'll point out which ones I think are above average, but a lot of these just feel kind of average to me. Nothing too crazy, but there hasn't been a whole lot that I dislike. It'll be an album I probably just put on, you know, in the background at some point, but it's probably not one I'm going to seek out super often so far. But we still got 2 more tracks, so I'll reserve some judgment yet. Next track we got, second to the last one, is My Drug.
As epic as can be my drug.
Alright, so that was My Drug. You know, it's not like we haven't heard something like that before. But, you know, seems like a kind of mid-track to me. We'll hold judgment to the very end. We got the final track here. This one's called Burrow. This is featuring Don Toliver, Steve Aoki, and Dot the Genius. It's a bonus track. Let's get it.
Said I'm strong. The moonlight falls in my way. I get to it. I can't run by myself.
Love Don Toliver's voice, man. Alright, y'all. that was Intergalactic. So overall thoughts. Let me preface this first by saying, yep, this is a first reaction. Shit's gonna grow on me. Shit I thought was fire may not be fire, but initial reaction, new mode, definitely a favorite. Enjoyed In Love, and then Maybe So. Those are probably some of my favorite tracks. And again, some of these others are definitely gonna grow on me as I give it some more listens. But first listen, a lot of this seems, kind of average. Stuff I probably won't go to super often. It's interesting. It's a very different kind of Cudi album than I guess what I'm accustomed to listening to. It's very different from Man on the Moon, that sort of series, where this is very, very, very relationship based, and kind of going off of the intergalactic track from Man on the Moon 1, where a lot of this is based on, he sort of finds solace in another person, and a lot of the pain he's expressed on the Man on the Moon albums is dealt with and almost aided by this relationship that he has with this woman. And it's interesting because some tracks will be kind of directly about that, and then others will be longing for that. So it's interesting. I don't know exactly what his scenario is, if he's single, if he has a girlfriend, if he's married. I don't know. But I mean, there's tracks in here where it's like longing for someone, and there's tracks in here where it's being thankful to have that person. Tracks like In Love. Again, I also see growth in this as well. No, it's not all sad, depressing songs. It's following that idea that relationships and confining in someone and building each other up. I think all those are themes that can be found in here. And you've heard me say it before, I hate grading albums on the first listen, but for some part of me also feels like I'm kind of obliged to. If I'm doing this on YouTube, I feel like I have to rank it somehow. If I had to give it a score now, and don't take this as concrete, I'd probably say like 7.2 out of 10. It's definitely a weaker Cudi album for me. I'm not disappointed though. I mean, I told you at the beginning, I came into this with really no expectations, and there's some songs in here that are definitely going to playlists and that I definitely enjoyed, and certainly there's going to be some more that grow on me as well. But yeah, man, I'm gonna call that a wrap. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, also let me know. But if you did, particularly if you like, comment, subscribe, that all that stuff really helps the channel, and I'd be really grateful for that. So consider doing that. If you don't, not the end of the world. But regardless, I hope you have a blessed day, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace.